Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. And what a crazy week it has been. We are coming off a PWHL Minnesota championship. They were lifting up the Walter Cup, and I can't tell you how happy I am for these women after losing at home, double overtime. They recalled, remember, disallowed the goal, and Boston won, so they came back. They are the inaugural champions, the first ever. And of course, Taylor Heisey, the MVP. So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about Timberwolves game 5. They're like that trick candle when it comes to elimination games. You just can't blow them out. So they're going to be playing the Mavs. And today, also not to be lost in all the craziness, Minnesota Aurora opens up their home schedule today, Thursday, against RKC. They're still undefeated in the regular season since they started this team. And we will talk to one of their players, Sophie French. So we have so much coming on. Thanks for listening.
Yes, welcome back to Dawn of Sports with Dawn Mitchell from Fox 9. I'm Jim Souhan from the Star Tribune. Brandon Morton is our producer. As always, if you like the show, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. And you should also go to talksport.com, find out that we have the best sports lineup in town. Great analysts, hosts, guests, plus outdoor content and variety content. Check it all out. We do appreciate your support. Thanks to our sponsors, Rudy Luther Toyota, Define Destinations, and Beta Bay Boat Club, and we're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio. So, Dawn, what a time to care about sports in Minnesota. We're talking here on Thursday morning. The Wolves have extended their series. I don't know if you'll hear this in time, but of course, they're playing on Thursday night against the Mavericks at Target Center. It's been a great postseason. Minnesota Aurora starting on Thursday night. Our special guest, Sophie French from the Aurora tonight. Aurora remain one of the best stories in American sports. And guess who else is one of the best stories in American sports? PWHL, Minnesota's team winning the first championship of the PWHL. I think when you win a championship, it's almost time to pick a nickname.
Yeah, and I think apparently their nicknames are just on the verge, and just like they just announced when the draft is going to be, I heard. I've got to find out the exact date. I know it's in June, and it is being held here in Minnesota. So, those are details, Jim. Details. They just call themselves PWHL champs. That's all that matters, right?
They really could just call themselves the champs as their nickname.
That could be their nickname, right?
Well,
Go ahead. Don. I was just talking yesterday that, it's kind of crazy that we're having basketball go this deep into Vikings, where they have OTAs and mandatory minicamp, let alone hockey and now soccer. So it's exciting. This is what this city, both cities, the whole state, this is what we're talking about when we want our teams to make deep runs. And I'm really liking the Timberwolves fans learning not to give up on their team and let it play out.
Yeah, well, I mean, why be a fan if you're gonna shut down as soon as you meet any adversity? Listen, if Naz Reid's shot doesn't rim out,
right.
This is a 2-2 series with the Wolves holding home court advantage. That's how close
it's almost like therapy, Jim, right now. It's therapy for Minnesota sports, right? Because normally it'd be like, I've seen this movie before. I get hurt. I'm shutting down. All right, let's talk it through. It's not over till it's over. Enjoy the process. So that's kind of what's going on with the Wolves.
That's exactly right. Listen, you've done a lot of work around, and we've had guests on this program from the Minnesota PWHL team. We had Natalie Darwitz on. How difficult was to do what they did, not only winning the way they won, which is you survive a disallowed goal. You have the emotional wrenching experience of not winning that game after it gets overturned, and you go on the road to win game 5. But just putting this whole thing together on the fly, the work that Natalie Darwitz and the new coach she had to hire did this season.
Well, absolutely. Well, let's start with the new coach, right? I think he got there a week before they had that coaching change, if you remember. So Ken was just thrown into the fire and basically said, hey, I've got this group of professional women who know what they're doing. I'm going to listen to them. And, when you have that collaborative effort and that happens, you see the fruits of your labor. But then they also went through that losing streak for a while where we all thought they're just going to be out of it if it kept on going. And then for them to sit at home and wait to see if they're even in the postseason. So this is just a team that has learned to overcome adversity. And you talk about learning that along the way, because I think other teams may have folded when here you are on your home ice, it's double overtime. You think you've won, you're celebrating, and then not only is the goal disallowed, the other team scores, right? Like that's just so deflating. Not many teams could go on the road and then not only win, dominate, have a 3-0 shutout performance. And let me tell you, for me, people are like, well, you're from Boston. Weren't you conflicted? Let me tell you, I was so proud that it's my two hometowns, Boston and Minnesota, going at it for a professional women's hockey league championship. At this point, I was like, I know 90% of the women on Minnesota's roster. We've known them, Jim, since they're in high school, many of them.
Yeah.
To see them go through the ranks and then go to play in high school, go to college, many with the Gophers, go to the Olympics, just to have this as the next step pinnacle, especially with Natalie Darwitz, the GM and at the helm. I literally, and I put this on Twitter and I wasn't lying, when they were skating around and they got their trophy, well, actually at the very minute when they won, I was crying. It was a moment for me. And usually I've been in sports for a long time. There's not that many moments. And you have Billie Jean King come out, for me, it was a little surreal. So, just continuing what an amazing women's sports year it has been, not only women's collegiate basketball, and now the Lynx are playing well. And then to see this, I don't know. I was just beaming the whole night. I'm so proud of this Minnesota team.
And good on Billie Jean King. She's always been a hero and, a leader. And, I don't want to just congratulate her. It's so cool that both she was willing to be that person, that she's still that person, and that she aligns herself with these, a great young league like the PWHL. It makes, as a writer, I try not to use certain words because they get overused, but this really is heartwarming.
It is. And another, since we're throwing out flowers to people, the Walter family that made this happen. And now you got the Stanley Cup and the Walter Cup, before, and this is not to take away from the Isabel Cup or anything from the past. It just didn't have the same gravitas as this did last night, where we finally got to, first of all, a shout out to my own Fox 9, showing the game on Fox 9 Plus so that people could see it for free. So in the past, wait till it came on Twitter, or, you see little clips if there was a feed and, we got to get a highlight, but to actually have the game and have people watch it. And this is what we're talking about, getting viewership numbers up, that, if you put it on there, people will watch. If you have it somewhere, people will show up, another sold out crowd in Boston. So, it's exactly what you said. It's fantastic in terms of everything that we've wanted to see happen and to see it come to fruition.
And I've had so many conversations with Cheryl Reeve and other women's sports leaders over the years about the importance of daily coverage and women being covered the way men get covered. And it's all true. It's all very important. But the real tipping point is getting the games on where everybody can watch them. And that's where I congratulate your company, Fox 9, and plus putting in the Aurora games on, putting the PWHL games on. No matter how many newspaper articles or columns you write about a subject, the real tipping point is broadcasters saying, yep, we're putting that on. We're going to put that on. People are going to watch it, and then we can make money off of it. And then everybody starts progressing down that road. Exactly.
And we've all seen what has happened in the past, and the former, way they held the Chicago Blackhawks, when they had the blackouts, and we saw what happened in Chicago when it came to the male sports. If you didn't have the home team on TV, you lost a generation of fans, so it goes both ways. It's not just for women. I mean, it happens in the men's game too. Visibility matters. And if you want a fan base, if you want to see who's really out there, you have to let people see it. And not everybody can, own a streaming service, own, Netflix or Hulu Live or whatever they can to get all their ESPN pluses and TNTs. And, some people just need to have it on free television. And that's how you get the exposure going. So, and the one last step, and St. Paul's mayor said it is, hey, what do the men get? Men get a parade, championship parade,
Right.
So have to wait and see the details on that. So just all in all, I just love all the stuff and hurdles that these young women had to overcome and to do it. It was amazing.
It was great. And by the way, you mentioned a politician. We had Governor Walz on the John Krasinski show this week to talk about the Timberwolves. Check that show out, as well as all of our football coverage, hockey, Gopher coverage, everything else at talknorth.com. We do appreciate it. Hey, we want to thank Rudy Luther Toyota. Speaking of organizations that support women's sports, Rudy Luther Toyota is always in the right place.
Ready for a women-forward car dealership? Rudy Luther Toyota empowers their many women on staff in sales, management, and service. Whether you are looking for a new Toyota or pre-owned vehicle, Rudy Luther Toyota has something for everyone. Every vehicle comes with a Luther Advantage. 10 cents off fuel and car wash discounts at holiday stations, Luther Advantage warranty, and 5-day return policy on pre-owned vehicles. Located just 5 minutes west of downtown Minneapolis, off 394 and General Mills Boulevard. And they're also hiring. Want to join the team but don't know where to start? Visit rudyluthertoyota.com today.
Thanks also to Beta Bay Boat Club. What a time to own a boat company. Just as the weather's turning, and get out there and enjoy yourself on the water.
Beta Bay Boat Club offers a limited number of season-long memberships in our private club and half-day or full-day pontoon boat rentals on Lake Minnetonka. Members have the opportunity to play on luxurious pontoon boats, as well as a variety of well-appointed deck boats, speedboats, and offshore boats. Our daily pontoon boats are deluxe, custom-built boats with many amenities and comfortable seating for up to 14 people. Beta Bay Boat Club, Country Club Boating, 24 years in business, and voted Minnesota's best 3 years in a row. Please visit us at betabayboatclub.com for more information. We look forward to welcoming you this summer.
And once again, Brandon Morton's our producer, and we're coming to you through Aquarius Home Services. All right, why don't you set up your conversation with Sophie French?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first, let's touch on the Timberwolves, right, in terms of what they need to do for tonight, only because, people are saying, oh, it's over already. They're going to come back here. Charles Barkley is saying that they're going to win Game 5. So how is it I know they have to win out.
Dawn, Charles is always wrong. I mean, he's the most entertaining guy in television. I love him, but he's always wrong.
He's always wrong, but let's hope this time he's correct. Okay. He thought the cottonwood was snow. We'll give him that.
He thinks that Cat should play inside instead of outside, even though Cat is the best 3-point shooter on the team.
Well, he takes 1,500 shots, Jim. Come on.
Well, okay. I'm going to defend Cat on that one. He was just exaggerating. He didn't mean actually takes 1,500 shots a day. He just, Cat does not know how. Cat is a nice guy who doesn't know how to say things in a way to avoid being picked on. And I kind of find it endearing because he doesn't have the big wall up that so many people have up. But anyway, this playoff run has been a blast. And if they win, I'm going back to Dallas for Game 6. And I still think the Timberwolves are the better team overall. And they're starting to figure out how to play against this team. And Lively being out is a huge advantage. I'm not going to make a prediction because this stuff is too unpredictable. But the Wolves have every chance, every opportunity to keep this series going.
Yeah, I said before, I think there's a maturation process that goes when you're in the playoffs. They have all the talent, but it's a different series than when they were facing Denver, right? So here you're playing Dallas, who, okay, you might think they're old, they're slower. Luka's a bit of a crybaby, but when it comes down to the details in those final minutes, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to get into the nitty gritty. and you have to be mentally strong. And, that's where it's won and lost, right? Going to the line, making dumb fouls. So I think what I have seen, especially in the last game, is that the Timberwolves are starting to get into that minutia of those final minutes, because that's where it's done. I mean, I remember when I was young and I was growing up, 14.7 seconds on the clock with the Boston Celtics when they were winning their championships would go for like a half hour, because they were so zoned into the details of the out of bounds ball or the fouls or the this and getting to the line. And for Pete's sake, make your free throws. They're free, people. That kind of stuff. It all comes down to it. And that was enjoyable for me to see that last game. So if they can keep that last second maturity in addition to the skills that they have, this game is going to be awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Might be on a plane to Dallas as early as tomorrow. And as I've said many times before on this show and our other shows, it's a really likable team to be around. It's rewarding to see people you actually think highly of succeeding. And the game in Dallas was a blast the other night. So let's have some fun with that. Now, as promised, Dawn's conversation with Sophie French from the Minnesota Aurora.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited for our guest this week because it comes just at the perfect time with Minnesota Aurora opening up their home schedule on Thursday. We have Sophie French from Minnesota Aurora FC. And let me tell you, they come in still undefeated. The stretch goes all the way back to the inception of this club. Yes, you've heard that right. Sophie, congratulations. You had the leveling goal last game to keep that going. Congratulations. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Dawn. We just had practice, and we're gearing up for our next game, but we're not forgetting that last game, was a good one, and we have stuff to grow from it. So, we're excited.
Can you take us through that goal? Sometimes that's pressure too, right? I know that you are all aware and you've been with the team before, so you knew what was on the line, or do you not think about it in that moment? Like, we're down 1-0 and we've never lost a regular season game yet. I mean, is that pressure?
I think there is a little bit of pressure always. What I was telling Equal Time Soccer after our game in my interview was that I think at that time on the field, the whole team, we were kind of on the same page, and that we all understood that, we have some time in the game. We are down. So we all understood like what the circumstances were and what it would take for us to not be in that situation. And I think like we were gaining some momentum to goal. We got this, free kick. And then I was like, all right, we need to be fired up. Like, we were hungry. I could just feel the tension on the field in a positive way, not like a bad tension, but that we were all like hungry and ready to get the ball in the back of the net. And then I was ready to put my body on the line. And I just remember like seeing Addie's beautifully lofted ball come across the frame of the goal and just like kind of soar right towards me. I had a defender yanking my arm back, and I just did a little jump, and then I made connection with the ball and saw it roll into the backside of the net. So it was really a team effort there. And I think, like I said, the energy from the team is kind of just what was buzzing and was kind of like getting us to match that challenge, which the team brought us.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Addie Wickers for that beautiful pass, right? She sometimes just knows how to telepathically find you guys. And you two are in sync many times. When you saw that coming at you, and I know it's all in real time, but afterwards, I know you're probably replaying it in your head and you just described it, but sometimes when your teammate can just give you that perfect pass, there's nothing better than that, is there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she is notorious for hitting those balls on a dime, right to your feet, right to your head, right in front of you where you need it to be. I think she has such great vision of the field, and she's very confident. So she will accomplish the job when she needs to.
All right, so you open the season 2 games on the road. Your first one, a dynamo 8-0 shutout of Dutch Lions on the road, no less. So you have a lot of international players now. You have a new head coach and sporting director in Colette Montgomery. You have new players. To have that 8-0 blowout to start it. Take us through that. That must have been like a nice relief and a way to get it going.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the team had a really great time in that game. We were working together. We were, figuring out some kinks, because playing against yourself is really fun. And, leading up to that, that's what we had been doing. But then when you finally get to be in a game setting with unpredictability and with another opponent, I think that is what just got everybody fired up. And we talk a lot about on the team about, take responsibility. If you can score the goal, do it. But also take responsibility to know that if you aren't the one who can score, set somebody else up to do it. And so I think like that kind of mindset is like just how we approach games, how we approach attacking, how we approach our press on defense. And I think like you could see it in the game. I don't know. I think everybody was really fired up.
Well, and it was also cool to get your brand new head coach and sporting director her first win. She didn't have to wait in her new tenure. How is that to see, just to celebrate that for Colette?
I think it's awesome. I do think Colette is so great about recognizing that, we are building off of something that Nicole Lukic and Jen and others have started. And so then just to carry their legacy through, I think has been like a really proud moment for her, but then for us as a group and as a team. And so, I think she was really happy about that, obviously. And I even think for the tie game that we had, she was really happy about that result, because we know that, it's a challenge, but we can face it. And obviously we showed that in the game, is that we're strong and we can, rise to any challenge, and we'll be just as ready the next time we have to face that team again.
We've had Colette on the show. What, in this short amount of time that you've been with her, and I love how she acknowledges Nicole, like the team was built for whomever, whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, whether it's in the administration, to move on up. We're here to be, she said, women that celebrate other women and lift them up. So when Nicole left and she came in, what have you learned from Colette in the short time that she's been at the helm that you've really admired a lot?
Something I really admire about Colette is that she does a really excellent job of recognizing, like, in the moment, whether, like, whatever is current going on. Today we took a second to appreciate those that have served and protected our country and the freedoms that we are allowed, just because it's Memorial Day. And she does that every single day. She'll have some sort of purposeful saying or quote, but then also recognize what's going on in the world and make sure that, everyone feels included and heard. And I really love what you said about the, a team built for women by women, but it's like, we're not just for that. Like, Colette is really great about recognizing that, this is such an inclusive environment and we want everyone to be comfortable, but we also want everyone to grow. And I think that is such a great space to be in. And that's been really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you see dads in the stands with their sons that are saying, oh, wow, look at this, So especially the young boys, their all experience is thinking women are just as powerful as men. So that's a great positive message too. So that's what you're talking about. It's inclusive for all that way.
Totally.
So, and you talk about what's going on. It seems team-wise, you guys, as soon as you got back into town, you went to the PWHL game, right? Last night. How was that experience for the whole team to go there and support another female team? I know it didn't end the way we wanted to. That was horrible for the poor Minnesota team. And for those of you listening and want to know why I'm not calling it a name, PWHL Minnesota doesn't have a name yet. None of the teams do. They go by the city. And they lost. They thought that they were going to win the championship in double overtime, no less. And then after they're celebrating, the goal was called back. So the series continues. But I saw pictures of the whole entire team there supporting the hockey team. And I don't know, I've been here a while. I've been playing sports ever since I came out of the womb. And that gave me chills in a happy way, just to see that power. What was that like?
I think, like you said, chills. I think that's a really great way to explain it. We're in such a unique time, like right now, as women's sports are on the rise and their coverage is on the rise and the popularity is on the rise. And like, they've been here for so long, but it's like, look at us, we're all supporting each other. We're building each other up. I think that's just so powerful. And like I said, what a wonderful environment to be a part of. And I think the girls really enjoyed, they get to go and watch another sport play, and it's supporting women and the environment and the atmosphere with all those fans. And it just got us even more excited for our home opener that's on Thursday, May 30th. So I think like that just really fueled them.
Yeah, let's talk about the opener. You're playing RKC. It's at 7:00. It's at TCO Stadium in Eagan for any of you guys that want to go. If you can't, and don't worry about it, It's going to be packed and raucous. It might not be your scene. You can see all the games on Fox 9 Plus, all the home games this year. Sophie, you've already been through a home opener. You already know how loud the stadium can get in Eagan. How do you try to describe it to some of the new young women on the team?
It is such a hard thing to describe. Whenever players show up that haven't experienced that, I just get the biggest smile on my face because I am so excited for them to personally experience it. I think there's nothing like it. You could go watch a professional soccer game anywhere, but the community here is so amazing and wonderful and supportive. And I mean, the last home opener, all I remember is I was playing an outside midfield position. So I'm right on the sideline where all the fans are. And I did like a nutmeg or something. I got a, girl on the other team, ball right through her legs. And I got DMs on Instagram about it after the game from fans that were like, that was so cool. Do that again. And I mean, I think it's just the fact that they feel like they can reach out and say things like that. And the fact that, I will absolutely respond and say, you guys made that fun, because if there was no one there going, oh, then it wouldn't be so exciting and so fun and such a great atmosphere to be a part of. But like you said, I think that experience is, you have to go there. You have to feel it. You get this rumble in your chest just being there and being around such a great community that supports soccer and everything else that Minnesota Aurora stands for: inclusion, supporting women, and speaking out for voices that aren't always heard.
Yeah, and I think the term vibe is so overused, but that's exactly what it is when you go there, right? Because there's young kids, there's boys, there's girls, there's grandparents, there's moms and dads, and the dads are there like cheering just as loud. Like, I love it so much. And I think I was blown away the first year, and it's just continued to get better and better. And sometimes when you guys go on the road, you realize what you have in this, because other teams don't have that, do they?
That's right. Seeing other teams and their setup, they are very fortunate to be able to play soccer, right? That's something what a privilege we have. But I do go there and I'm like, I'm so grateful for the resources and the community and the culture that's been built here. And there's so many behind the scenes Aurora staff that we don't even get to meet. We hear of them or we see them in passing, but it's like, we are so fortunate to have such an intricate team, and not just the players and the coaches, but even past that, the office staff, the event staff, the community outreach staff, like everyone I didn't name. So yeah, we are so fortunate. And I feel that gratitude every single day. I think every time I step out on the turf, it's just so prevalent. Like, we're here and we are so lucky to be here.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you. I know you, but the listeners don't know you. So I know that you played soccer at the University of Portland. You even played for the Portland Thorns FC at one point. You have a twin sister who also played soccer. Tell us about your upbringing and how this is just so natural for you now to embrace Minnesota, and how big soccer is here for young women.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I grew up with an older brother, or I guess technically a twin sister. And so we were always very competitive, and we all played soccer, and we all did all sorts of other sports. So I think that was a really great base to have, and having, all the different muscle groups to do different sports like swimming, water polo, baseball, softball, tennis, running, track, or cross country, and of course, soccer. And so we were always really competitive. And I think having a twin sister, somebody who's the same age as you, who is the same build as you. And so obviously it's like, okay, well, who's going to be better? So we always would compete in a friendly way. But I think that is kind of what has helped me push myself. And I'm thinking like, well, Lily would go out on a run, that's my twin sister's name. So I'm like, I should go out for a run, or Lily's going to stay late and do some extra passing. So I'm going to stay late and do some extra passing. And I think it goes both ways. Like, if we're doing sprints, it's like, oh, she's pushing hard on that last one, I'm going to push even harder. So I think that has been a really big drive for me to be competitive in sports, and then has kind of helped me develop my own competitive edge and spirit. And then, like I said, I mean, my parents were really pushing us to be outdoors, athletic, and we love that. It was natural. And so coming to Minnesota, where that is also the norm, being outdoorsy, going out and enjoying the outdoors and nature, and then also being able to enjoy sports everywhere. We've got hockey, basketball, soccer, what you name it, it's all here. So I think that it's a really natural fit, and I just love coming here.
Well, you have to be competitive in order to leave your home, go to Minnesota for the summer, right? Stay in the dorms. Sometimes you guys can go over to Taylor Kane's house and have fun on the lake. I know that, but you're away from your home, and it's like a job. But it's still not a job, and it's kind of like this in between world where you can just really focus on soccer and the relationships of your teammates. It's such a unique experience. What have you loved most about it?
That's so funny that you say that. I think you just described it very well. Like, whenever someone asks me that, what is my favorite part about Minnesota Aurora in particular versus any other soccer program that I've been a part of? I've been a part of amazing soccer programs in the past, but the unique thing about Aurora is that while it is just the summer months, right? We are
Yeah.
all here to play soccer. And so whereas when you're at school, you have school priorities, you have friend priorities, you have maybe family priorities if you're close to home, you have lab, whatever your major is, you have those priorities. Maybe, you do a lot of social time with friends. And when we're here, every girl is here because they are here to play soccer. And I
Mhm.
think having those like-minded people, growth-minded people, it's such a unique environment. And I don't know how to explain it unless, you're here at practice on the turf, but we are all here to make each other better. And I think just going into any kind of setting, like any kind of setting, it could be a work setting or a soccer setting or anything. That is such a great mentality to have. And it really helps you boost the players around you. And I think as a team, when you do team sports, you kind of have to do that. You have to look for, how can I make my teammates better? How can I make my teammates better? Because that will make me better as well.
Yeah, and you guys just have fun together. I mean, people may not know this, but even your bus driver, Steven, has become like, I said, the dad of the group. He goes, I'm like the grandfather. He's like, I've got grandkids this age. So I'm like, wow, like even that. And I think I saw somewhere on social media, even at the beginning of the year, he introduced himself.
hmm
This is going to be a great year. I'm Steven. And who sits on the bench, and he's just been part of this team since it started as well. So no person is left out. Everybody is included. And you can't even see my face right now, but I'm just smiling because I adore Steven, first of all. But just to have that right down to everybody being included, that's what it means to be Minnesota Aurora, right?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm going to tear up because, Stephen, I listed all those things that we're so grateful to have here at Minnesota Aurora. And I think Stephen really is that cherry on top. He gets us where we need to go and he gets us there safe. And I think he memorized everyone, and we have a lot of new girls, memorized everyone's
Wow.
name within the first hour of our bus ride trip. Like, he
Stop.
made sure to know everyone's name. And we've gotten really close with Steven, and I've only known him for, the year and some time that I've been here this year. But for the
Mm.
players who have known him for the 3, he is such an integral part of our season and our lives. And I don't think we could ask for anything more from him. Like, he is just, like I said, the cherry on top of our Sunday that is Minnesota Aurora.
Well, let me tell you, it also comes from you, the players, because I got to have a chance, and this was so much fun for me to do some media training with you. And there are so many new young women that are on the team. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of new faces. I have to memorize. Shout out to Steven for getting it in an hour. But ever since then, like when I came back to do some stories with you, it was like, hey, people come running over. And I'm like, wow, I kind of feel like I'm part of the team now, too. Like, that emanates from the players and the staff, and it just kind of like brings people in, don't you think?
Absolutely. Dawn, you are totally a part of the team. Come on.
You don't want to see my soccer skills right now, but I spent last year the whole summer on crutches, so it may be ugly. So I'll be there in spirit, okay? But yes,
Okay.
oh, thank you. But it's so true. And by the way, all of you were so good at the media training. Like right now, you could be a spokesperson for the team, and
Ooh,
I am not taking any credit because you came this way. So
no. We really soaked in all that information you gave us. The girls were so interested. I could tell everyone's faces. They were very intent on learning all of and soaking up all the information you were giving us. It was so helpful.
Yeah, it's just a different world, right? When you're thrust into talking to people about, and lots of people like in your face, asking you questions about the game, good. And, unfortunately, let's say if you lost the game, you'd have to answer questions to that. But
Right.
It's just the way of handling it. And just knowing that 99% of the people are there to love you. And they just want to see Aurora do well. Well, what do you want to say to the fans, Sophie, that are getting ready for year 3? It's a new era with Colette and new players on the team. What do you want them to know about Thursday's home opener?
Ooh, I want them to know that they better be ready to be loud and be proud and be chanting, all of our names after we score some goals. We talked about it today at practice. We were like, we're going to rack up some goals, but, we're also going to grow as a team. And so I think they should be ready to come and see some amazing soccer. And then just to see how deep our lineup is. We have so many good players and such a great group. And we talked about it after our last game. We said, we're going to face that team again. And this time we're going to have our 12th man, which is going to be, our TCO, our group, our people here watching with us. So, I think everyone should be just ready to have a great time and to be just, be themselves and to enjoy soccer, because that's why we do it, right? Is to enjoy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was trying to sound like Colette right there, but I didn't do well. Absolutely. She's got her one-liners that I just love, but what she say, right? Something come again, right? She's just a darling. So it is this Thursday, May 30th. It is Minnesota Aurora hosting RKC at 7:00. If you can get there, support these women. Sophie French, once again, you blow me away. You are such a great speaker. You are so fun to talk to. And I really appreciate you being on the podcast. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dawn. It's such an honor to be on the podcast with you. So I really appreciate that.
All right, let's go, Aurora. Woohoo!
Go, Aurora!